Hi, and welcome to 3 Things in 3 Minutes. I'm Nersi. Today we are looking at Azul, Stained Glass of Sintra, from Next Move Games. This is a 2 to 4 player game and plays in 30 to 45 minutes. Now, this is a sequel to the original Azul, but where you were making a tile mosaic in that game, here you're putting together a stained glass window. Players take turn collecting light colored pieces from factory displays or the central space and then trying to fit them into templates on their window boards. Now, added to this game is a glazier who moves left to right across your board and can limit exactly where you can put your pieces. After 6 rounds, you collect bonuses and penalties, and whoever has the most points wins. Things I like. This game gives you a little bit more flexibility than the original Azul. In the original Azul, especially at the end of the round, you could end up taking a bunch of tiles that were not only useless, but also scored you a bunch of negative points. And in this version, while the main point of the glazier is to limit where you can put the tiles that you collect, you can also stall by spending your turn moving it back to the beginning and hopefully avoid taking a number of tiles that you can't use. The plastic tiles are also aesthetically great and carry some of the same beauty in the tile length that the original Azul did, this time with translucent tiles that are reasonably good at representing a brilliant window. Now, while the color tiles aren't nearly as colorblind friendly as Azul, and the patterns on the translucent tiles are hard to see, they were thoughtful enough to include some spaces to help you group the tiles to make them more colorblind friendly. And like Azul, this is a game you can explain pretty quickly and get people into without a lot of time, fuss, or experience, at least until it comes to scoring, which I'll get to in a bit. Some points to consider. Now, while how you lay the tiles and score them is very different from the original Azul, the mechanic of drafting the tiles from the common pool is identical. Now, it's hard to say whether one game's mechanics of laying the tiles and scoring them is better than the other. They're just different, and you'll need to decide if it sounds different enough to own one or the other or both, since the other half of the mechanics are identical between the games. Also, the scoring is more complicated. Now, you can consider this to mean it's more strategic, but now you have a few things to think about. Which tile color will score bonus points during that round, whether or not you want to finish your rightmost columns to trigger more points throughout the game, and which windows you want to finish in order to score some endgame completion bonuses. It's a bigger step up from the relatively simpler, if still finicky, scoring of the original Azul, so you'll need to decide if you want to sink your teeth into this one. And finally, from an aesthetic standpoint, the windows look great while you're building them, but once you complete a window, you wipe the tiles off, and the second time you complete the column, you remove it from the game. So while at the end of Azul, you're left with a nice looking mosaic, at the end of this game, if you're doing well, you're left with an empty window, which is kind of a shame. So, in summary, it's a sequel to Azul that maintains the same drafting and mechanic but changes some of the options for placement and scoring, and in some ways it's more complex, making it more different than frankly better than the original. And it's got some great looking tiles that look good in mid-game but disappointing at the end. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel.